Graeme, Happy New Year to you, welcome. Virgin Racing heads into year 2 in Formula One. Very, very exciting times ahead for you guys.
Yeah, it's it's great no longer to be a new team, so we're going into second season now, and 2010 was very much about getting established. We had very, very short time to get the team put in place, and we're really excited about 2011. As you know, we followed a different path to the traditional teams, where we're focused much more on technology, new technology, and using the processes that Nick has really pioneered, and so we're really excited about moving into 2011, making use of that.
We'll talk to Nick in a second about this unique concept, but I think it's very important to say that what you guys are doing is on the front cover of this week's Autosport magazine, and we've stuck our necks out and said this is the future of Formula One.
Yeah, we absolutely believe that as well. I would hope that most people here would agree that what the fans want to see is close racing, close action. Formula One is the pinnacle of motorsport, and it should be the pinnacle of technology, but it should also be the pinnacle of entertainment, with the best drivers in the world, really putting on a show for everybody. And our view is that a spending competition is not terribly interesting to watch, but something where people are using new technology, with the best creative minds, really does provide a show that is exciting for everybody to see, and that's what we want to be a part of.
It's difficult, though, isn't it, to change perceptions, to break the habit of a lifetime. Formula One's been a spending competition since 1950, and all this resource restriction. Red Bull spend too much, McLaren spend too much. Difficult to get that nailed.
I don't think Virgin are always up for a challenge, and so they're pretty keen to challenge the establishment, if you like. It couldn't be done without the sort of techniques that Nick's pioneered. We couldn't do it. We couldn't come in and say we're going to have the same business model as McLaren and we're going to be better than them. It'd be foolish for us to do that. But we can come in and say we're doing this differently. It's new thinking. It's a new way of doing things. We're integrating with partners who provide the platform for us to do it, and we truly believe we can compete.
Nick, come on then. Tell us all about it. In 25,000 words or fewer, what is computational fluid dynamics?
Well, it's simply using computers to simulate airflow, but it's more than that. It's not just airflow. It's heat transfer from things like the brakes, the cooling system, hot air and high energy exhaust flows. It's modelling all that lot. There's nothing particularly new about it. It's a science actually was really pioneered in this country, the mathematical techniques, and unfortunately a lot of those universities that pioneered it, the inventions and the intellectual property disappeared to the other side of the Atlantic, and now we find ourselves buying it back from our friends in America to license it. But really, what we have found is that as this technology has developed and also computers have improved in their performance, we've got to the point where they can actually replace physical testing. And we pioneered this in our sports car program with Honda and Acura in America. And we thought this is an ideal opportunity to bring this technology into Formula One on this with the new low-cost formula idea that we joined the championship with. And really excited about taking the techniques forward in our second year.
So we'll come to Mark in a second for additional technical insight, but essentially you are designing a Grand Prix car using predictive methods on a computer. You are predicting how it will flow through the air. Oh, I thought they were going to shut up for a minute. You're not using a wind tunnel. You're not simulating real wind over the car. You're doing it on a computer.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, it is a complete computer simulation. The 2010 car, the first time air ever flowed over it was the Shakedown. 2011 car's the same. The real key thing, and what we're really excited to announce today, is that we spent 2010, if you like, getting our eye in. And what we understood was that despite the amazing computer power we had on the program, we needed more. And we found that we were developing the car at a reasonable pace had a really interesting battle with Lotus all season long in terms of putting developments on the car. But if we were going to really set sail towards the top teams, we needed to go to the limit of what is possible within the regulations. There's a balance. Most Formula One teams do CFD development and wind tunnel testing, and the way that Formula One is governed is that there's a limit as to how much you could do of each.
Yeah.
So typically a top team like Red Bull or a McLaren would use one wind tunnel and then an amount of CFD to use their quota of aerodynamic testing. And as we discovered and understood what our quota was, we realized we needed to make a huge step forward this year and try and use all of the aerodynamic development available just purely in CFD. So we formed a fantastic working relationship in our first year with CSC, our technology partners, who work with us, helping us with telemetry, data analysis at the track. And we talked to them about this problem, that we wanted to step forward, and they said, listen, we can help you. And so today we're delighted to announce an extension to our partnership with CSC. It's a worldwide computer organization who've leveraged their influence and helped us install a new computer system at our new technical center in Banbury. And this system will allow us to be the first team to go to the limit of aerodynamic testing, but only in CFD. So I think in 2011 we will be doing more CFD than any other Formula One team on the grid, and that's from the front to the back. And I can say that because if we did one single day of wind tunnel testing, we'd break the rules. We are going to go at the limit, and it's thanks to this new help from CSC, and I'm sure Mark can tell you more about that.
Mark, you're Marketing Services Director of CSC. Yeah. Formula One must be a wonderful platform for you guys as boffins to really show what you've got.
Yeah, I don't think
I use the term affectionately.
Yeah,
I promise you.
Kind. What we're about really is an organisation that helps businesses perform better, change their processes, and we do that for some of the world's leading brands, including a lot of the Virgin companies, Virgin Atlantic and Virgin Media. So it's a logical step for us to say, look, how can we demonstrate what we can do as a business by getting involved with Formula One, working with Nick and working with Graeme, to really start to show how technology can change the economics of an organisation like Virgin Racing, and we think potentially the economics of Formula One in the future.
This sort of supercomputing, if you like, they're only as good as the guys that sort of turn them on and tell them to do things, aren't they? You still need that kind of human element, that human skill, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely, and we're working in partnership with Nick and Wirth Research to make sure that some of the best skills provided through Nick's organisation as well as through CSC to make sure there's really world-class skills running the CFD environment.
The new teams in Formula One, they came in for a little bit of flack last year because it's very easy, isn't it, to point the finger when you're starting out, because Formula One is not easy. It's not supposed to be easy. Do you think the credibility of Virgin Racing stayed at a level, and has it grown? Where do you think the whole establishment lies?
I think there's two things. First of all, this time last year, the media and other commentators were saying, is CFD really going to work? And actually what we saw at the end of the season was less cynicism about it and more recognition it's the future. So that's the first thing. I think the second thing is, if you look at organisations like Virgin, when they enter a new market, like airlines, for example, they're not the market leader in year one. And Virgin Atlantic took 2 or 3, 4 years to get really established. What we've got and what Virgin Racing have got is a strong 5-year plan to really get to world-class levels within Formula One. And obviously CSC, we're delighted to be part of that and go on the journey with them.
I'll come to you, Jerome, in a second. Nick, when the car first rolled out at the beginning of 2010, how close was it to what you thought it would be? And will it be closer this time round?
Yeah, no, the thing is, the CFD is just a tool. At the end of the day, we've got a fantastically talented group of engineers and aerodynamicists working with that tool. And what we saw pretty much through the season was that the tool was predicting correctly what was going on the track. Every upgrade we put on worked as predicted. We just need to do more. And as we refine our technologies and techniques, we can try and roboticize the process more, take more people out of the the kind of the nuts and bolts part of it and get more into the creative side, again for the same budget. So we just see gain upon gain upon gain coming. The productivity throughput is amazing. The new car is a very big step forward from last year, from the 2011 car. Very, very excited about putting that on the track. And, you know, we've tried to learn the lessons throughout the project in terms of the gearbox design, hydraulics, all the bits and pieces, try to bring it all together and make a great step forward in 2011. I think it's going to be a very interesting season. We've got new tyres, we've got new rules, this movable rear wing, no one's really got a clue how that's going to work. In terms of the racing effect, it has an enormous effect on how the engines are used. There's just a huge range of things that could make 2011 as exciting as 2010 was for the public, and we just want to make a step forward up the grid and show what we can do.
And when we turn on our televisions on a Sunday afternoon, the buck stops with the guy behind the wheel, doesn't it? And here is one of them. Jerome, welcome. Happy New Year to you. Massively exciting for you. You are a Grand Prix driver.
Yeah, it's something very special. They've given me a chance, Virgin, to show what I could do in an F1 car during the Fridays, and now they're giving me a chance to be a Grand Prix driver for a year, and it's something that I will really try to take the most out of this.
Did you understand a word of what Nick and Mark were saying?
I do understand, of course. I'm not an engineer. In the end, I'm a driver.
A racing car's a racing car, isn't it?
No, it is. I do understand, and I've got great interest into the technical aspects of Formula One. This is something I enjoy. Of course, being behind the wheel, driving it, is something that gives you adrenaline. It's something fantastic. But being back there in the office with the guys and then try to improve every aspect of the car is something that's giving me a thrill as well. And I can't wait to get down to work on that aspect as well.
I was joking, of course. It's very important for drivers to understand the science of Formula One, because the difference is the little changes you make are measured in thousands of seconds. So you need to know what the car's doing all the time, don't you?
Well, you certainly have to have a feeling of what the car is like on the track. Of course, I'm not an engineer, so there's a fine line between what the input you can give. It has to be clear, it has to be a good direction. I'm not going to be out there on the CFD and work in the place of the engineer. It's just a way that you have to find to work well together, an understanding of me showing a way and being able to transmit my feelings, and then them translating that into proper engineering work.
From a personal point of view, I guess there's been masses of interest at home in Belgium. You're the first Belgian Grand Prix driver for 15 or 16 years. Has that been really, really easy to deal with?
Well, you know, I won't say it's been hard or it's been something that I complain about. I'm a Grand Prix driver at the end, like you say. So I've been dreaming for this since 17 years, which actually was the last season of full season of Belgian Grand Prix racing driver. So no, it's shown great interest in Belgium, and this is something fantastic. I can't be more than happy about this. It shows, you know, I never lived with a proper Grand Prix driver in my country, and that I can remember of. So I couldn't imagine how the interest would be like, and it hasn't stopped since the announcement. So it's something great. It shows that Formula One is massively popular, and that there's great interest about it in Belgium.
I guess you won't be able to move when you go to Spa, will you? You'll be mobbed, won't you?
Well, if it's the case, then it's great for Formula One. It's great for everyone, because it shows that Formula One is in the end is the third world biggest event, and in terms of sports, and so it shows that there's millions of people out there liking it, and this is great. The more people like Formula One, the happier we are.
And of course, you go up against Timo Glock, who's been in Formula One quite a long time. He's got a great reputation. He's very fast. What can you learn from Timo?
I can learn a lot of things from Timo. First of all, he's a very open guy, which is very important for me, because we go on along very well, and it's important for me, it's important for the team, important for the work. And as you said, what can I say? He's done front rows in qualifying, he's done podiums, so I've got a lot of things to learn from him. So I have to get down to work and just try to reach a very good level as quick as I can.
Graeme, Jerome's got a lot of work to do ahead of him. He seems up for it.
Yeah, we got to know Jerome very well last year because he did FP1 sessions on a number of Fridays towards the end of the year, and I distinctly remember the first time Jerome sat in one of our Formula One cars was at the Grand Prix in Singapore. So it's a night race, and it was absolutely lashing down with rain. And that was and he has to drive out the garage under the glare of a huge amount of publicity and do a job of work. And he really impressed the team with with his maturity and his feedback in what I think I would have been pretty nervous. And Grand Prix drivers do this for a living, but there are very, very, very few people who have the job that Jerome has, and we're really excited to have him on board. I'd also say, when we were in Brazil, Jerome turned up and played on the mechanics five-a-side football team as well. And for any young aspiring drivers at the show today, that's always a good thing to do.
That's definitely worth a few tenths, isn't it? Every lap there, mucking in with mechanics football. Nick, Jerome starts at the bottom with effectively nothing to unlearn. It is tough, though, isn't it?
It is, but I think of all the teams, or certainly the new teams, old new teams, if you like, coming in, I think he's chosen a good one. We have, despite the fact we've got this very interesting business model, we have some amazing technology in the team, not least of which are the simulator facilities. Now with a complete year of Formula One calibration behind them, we've got the challenge, like all the teams, of modelling the new Pirelli tyres. But Jerome is moving to Oxford. He can come and use the simulator facility as often as he likes. Drive us completely mad in Banbury. And just pound round and learn all the circuits. He's obviously had the benefit of free practice. I think we're going to give him a good platform, really excited about the new car, and hopefully give him an ideal opportunity to show his talents to the world. I'm sure he's going to do himself and the team proud next year. Simulation is very important, isn't it? I, as you will remember, I had a go in your simulator in Bicester, and it was a deeply unpleasant experience, in a good way. They're so important. All the teams have got them, and drivers do hours and hours and hours in simulation, and it's incredibly accurate, isn't it? Well, there are simulators and simulators. I'm not sure it's true that all the teams have got them after a fashion. It is absolutely critical, in our opinion, to do that, to develop the technologies, to understand about there are some amazing systems, none of which I can talk about on stage, that Formula One cars are allowed within the regulations. Braking systems, now we've got KERS coming back, the press-to-pass rear wing, understanding all that lot, how that works. You can't let a robot drive that on a laptop. You've got to let a real human being come in, let the engineers work with him. So having that technology and the ability to test outside of the allotted 3 or 4 tests at the beginning of the season is critical. To us, it is an absolutely key piece of technology, and that's why we've spent so much time investing in that and CFD. Mark, in terms of new tyres for 2011, as Nick said, the return of KERS, the adjustable rear wing, do you effectively press escape on the computer and start again? Or how much of it can you integrate? Because the rules change, don't they?
Yeah, indeed. I think probably Nick is better placed answering that in some detail. But the bottom line is for us that what we're providing for Nick and Virgin Racing is about a massive new computing capability that just really takes the CFD technology to the limits and helps the team do more with less and do things better, faster and cheaper, basically.
Okay, it's very exciting. We wish you well, and you, Jerome, as well, in your first year. I'm sure you'll do a cracking job. Have a very fast and a very safe season, gentlemen. Thank you very much to our Virgin Racing crew, Graeme Lowdon, Nick Wirth, Mark Davis and Jerome D'Ambrosio.